whole life had changed. I just knew to get to the Oregon coast and spend an afternoon walking the Oregon coast, walking the beach, which had always been a place of solace and healing for me. I went down to a little town in Oregon called Manzanita. I've been walking because it's not crowded there. And I walked the beach. And then I thought, this is not going to get solved in an afternoon. I'm going to need some time here. I thought maybe I could rent a little bedroom from somebody's house or stay somewhere. So I walked into a realtor's office, a real estate office. There was a woman sitting behind the desk. And I walked in. She goes, "Oh, Mary. Oh, honey, you've had a lot going on." And she said, "You don't know me, but I've come to your women's retreats." And so I told her what I was looking for, and she says, "There's a new home that was built here. They haven't been able to get in the rental pool. They've got a 4-month waiting time before they can. They don't want to just rent it, but they said if I knew somebody who wanted to stay there who would pay the utilities, somebody that I trusted, they would be happy to let them stay there just for the utilities." So I had a place to stay. And I'm mad, and ultimately I was mad at myself. And so I'm walking the beach. And then about 5 weeks into that 90 days, there was a day when I was cried out. And I was bereft, not just sad, I was bereft. And I'm walking the beach that day, and all of a sudden I had not heard from that. I was talking to you today about that voice you hear from. I wasn't hearing from it. Later I would realize it hadn't gone anywhere. I was just broadcasting grief so loud I couldn't hear it. So I'm walking the beach that day and I hear, "You're still breathing." And I wept. I was so happy to hear from that part of myself. And then I heard, "Dark chapter, not your whole book." That was the first time the thought that this didn't have to be the whole rest of my life occurred to me. This is 2004. I could write a new chapter. And I knew your inner voice will speak to you in a language you understand. Nobody else needs to understand it. You will understand it. I knew what that meant to me. So when you find, I learned some things about transformation in regard when you felt that you have really failed in an area. My 2 favorite degrees are my 2 black belts, one in success and the other in failure. Each are equally transformational if we use them well. As I had walked that beach, I had a little handbook that I worked from, written in about 1000 AD by a Christian saint known as St. John of the Cross. And that book is entitled Dark Night of the Soul. Unlike Thoreau, where Thoreau says, if one advances confidently, he writes, when the dark night comes upon you. Something happens in every single one of our lives. See, it looks different. It's a diagnosis. Somebody dies suddenly. You feel abandoned. Somebody rejects you. Somebody betrays you. It's part of the human experience. He says, when the dark night comes upon you, the first thing you do is do everything you can do to make it go away. And when you discover your power is not enough to make it go away, if you surrender to it, 3 things will happen. The first is a feeling of release. I can't change this. The second is a feeling of relief because you've stopped fighting it. And he said the third is a strange feeling that will come upon you, that you don't want it to end too soon. Because deep down, you actually do want everything it came to give you. Think about whatever's in your past that you don't want to have on the front page of the paper, or that you don't really want to talk about that much. Make friends with it. It's helped you become who you are. It's not something to hide. Every one of us has mistakes in our life. They're not obstacles to us being who we want to be. They're qualifiers for who we can be. I would not wish what I went through on anybody, but I would wish where it took me on everybody.